My name is Drill. I go by Taper Tage. If you guys follow me, Thousands Ain't Good Enough is the acronym for Tage. I used to rap and I went by Young Tage, and then once I stopped rapping, I just kind of put the taper in front of Tage, and that's where Taper Tage comes from. I've been a barber for 8 years. I graduated 2014. I had never cut nobody's hair in my life. I never even picked up clippers before I went to barber school. But I was at an age, and I had a child, and I was at an age where I couldn't continue to do what I was doing. So I had to do something, and I sold my house up in Menifee. I moved back down here. I'm from Vista, Oceanside. And then I started barber school. That was pretty much it. And then I worked at the spot. I don't know if you guys are, anybody's from Oceanside? Anybody? No? Well, like down there in the Mid-Valley, there's a place called The Spot. It was a shop for like 24 years, 23 years at the time. And then I started working over there. The owner, he didn't cut hair, and he didn't run his shop too well. So after about 3-4 years, I just told myself I'm gonna save up every dollar that I got. I wasn't gonna buy shoes, I wasn't buying clothes, I wasn't buying anything, and that I was gonna save up my money and open up my own shop. And so that's exactly what I did. And then when I opened up my own shop, I didn't have any barbers. I had 8 chairs, but I had no barbers. It was just literally me. And then I just basically started hiring people and shit. Started building, trying to build a brand, which is culture. And that's pretty much it. And 5 years later, after having my, 5 years after graduating school, I opened up my own shop. And then 3 years after that shop running, successful, then I told myself, damn, I'm too comfortable. I don't want to be this comfortable. So I opened up another shop because the shop that in Oceanside was already running. All the chairs were filled. Everybody was good. So I was like, well, shit, I'm going to try to do it again and open up another shop. And the day that I got the keys and I officially said that I was going to knew that I was going to open the second shop, I had posted on Instagram that I was hiring, and I only had 8 chairs, remind you. But I literally had about 12 barbers that wanted to work. So therefore I knew that the building of the brand, people just wanted to work for the name. It well, I don't think it had nothing to do with me specifically. It was, they wanted to work for this company. It's kind of like Supreme or any other company, you know, you want to work there because the name then got built up. But that's pretty much it. Beto, you guys know Beto. He came here before. He was the second person that I hired. The school, the West Coast Barber College, is right next door to the spot where I used to work. The owner of West Coast Barber College, I used to work with him. So that had a big influence on me opening the second shop, because I was like, well, shit, I know the owner, I know the teacher, and I know Wiley. Wiley? Is his name Wiley? Wiley. I knew him too, and I was like, well, shit, I know all the owners of barber school, so why not try to open up another shop and continue to try to build and build and build. And so that's what I did. And here I am today. I got 2 shops. I'm trying to open up a third, but I'm going through the process of trying to get the building right now. So I haven't even walked through the building yet. I haven't done none of that. I just literally went to the building the other day. If you guys follow me on Taper Tage, I'm like super transparent. I post everything. I post a little bit too much. And I suggest that you guys do the same, because you rather have too much than too little, right? As far as content goes.
So Carly mentioned to us that like you always write down like your stuff on your notebook, and that's what she does now. Like, well, when did you start doing that, and like how much did it really help you?
So I told you I'm from Oceanside, and I had a barber out there. His name is Little James. And I remember always asking him, you know, like, hey, how much money do you make? You know, is it a good business? Because like I said, at the time I was doing illegal activities, and I had just had her. So I was like, shit, I got to do something. And I didn't have a job for 12, 13 years. And so I just knew, like, bro, I didn't want to go from not having a job to clocking in, or, hey, you got to be here from 7 to 4. I knew I wanted freedom still. So that's why I chose barbering. I didn't got.
Writing down.
Yeah, like.
Oh yeah, writing it down. Okay, so then little James, he told me that he didn't really know how much he made. His answer was, as long as all my bills are paid, then I'm good. As long as you're paying your bills, you're good. And I remember saying to myself, like, dang, that's why people look at barbering as like a side job or a side hustle. And there's a lot of people who still treat it like that and look at it like that. And I knew, like I said, I started later in life. He started when he was real young. So I kind of see why he thought like that. But I went to barber school, I was 33 years old. So I was like, I can't kind of treat it like that. Like, I want to know how much I'm making this month compared to next month, this day compared to next day. She'll tell you I never work on Tuesday, because that's how I was able to figure out, like, hey, on Tuesday, I don't really make shit. You know what I mean? So if I'm going to I worked for 7 days in a row for like 2 years straight, like no breaks, no Hawaii, no TJ, no, just straight working. Because again, I had a goal, I had a vision. So that's why I started writing stuff down. I was like, but I started kind of right when I got out of school. I've been a barber 8 years. I have books all the way for 8 years. I actually brought one of the books. I was gonna pass it around. I told her I was gonna bring all my books, but I didn't want to bring them all, because then it looks like, oh, this guy's bragging or whatever. But just to show you guys how I do it, I made it a routine. Like, when I'm done and I take the neck strip off, the very first thing I have to do is turn around and write down the number, because otherwise you'll forget, you know what I mean? And I've just been doing that every year. And then, so I just write down what I make, and then I add it up by the week, and then I add up the weeks, and 4 weeks make a month. And then at the end of the book, I can start to see how much I made for the whole year. And then I advised everybody that I work with to do it. And I think pretty much all of them do it, except for maybe like 1 or 2. But those guys just treat it like a hobby. They're halfway there, you know what I mean? And I just wanted to treat it like a job. That's kind of why I'm so transparent, because I feel like if little James would have, showed me, hey, you can make this much and do this, then if he would have had a better layout, then I wouldn't have gotten in some of the trouble that I got into, you know what I mean? Because I took a different route, which I was making less money. It was illegal, and I was making less money than I'm making now. You know what I mean? So if he was a little bit more transparent and had a little bit more info, then I'd be better off in life myself. So.
But again, you guys, like, keeping that book like that, same with my book. Mine is broken down in services and tips. Mine, again, you can go through and you can count how many clients I did that week, how many clients I did that month. And then you can go back and see which days you want to take off. Hey, I want to take this Tuesday off so I can spend time with my kid. That's why I got you guys these books, is so you guys can start that right now and start that habit right now before you even get behind the chair. This is why I brought Tage to talk to you guys tonight, is so we can start these good habits while you're here right now, and then when you get out, you're already killing it and you know what to do. You have that foundation to grow. Because if you don't have a good foundation, you can't grow anything on top of it, right?
I had people telling me before I started barber school, oh, you're gonna go to barber school? It's like not a real job, you know what I mean? So then when I went back and started showing them them same books, like 2 of those people are barbers now, you know what I mean? So, and one of them works with me. I don't know if you guys, did Peter go here, or did he go? Yeah, he's one of the people that he had got out of prison. And I was like, bro, what you gonna do? It's like, I'm looking at Manpower, looking for a job. I was like, bro, take 6 months and go to school. And now, you know what I mean? He has a career, not a job. You can go anywhere in the world and cut hair. So I'll pass this around, just, you can continue with the questions. So I write down just what I make, what somebody hands me.
So that's how many haircuts you did that day?
I don't necessarily, she breaks it down into how many haircuts. Mm-hmm. Sometimes if it's a dad and a son, and the dad just gives me $100, I care about the number. I don't really care about how many people I cut. So then this is the day, and then I add it up to that's for the whole week. So then you can kind of go back and see, like, just look at numbers and stuff. That one's an old one. I don't know. I don't need a pass one. Yeah. And then
how long did it take you to get your clientele?
Bro, like I said, I used to rap, so I'm old. So we used to literally go out and pass out CDs and pass out this and that. So like I said, once I stopped rapping, I just took that knowledge that I had with guerrilla marketing and going out, and that's what I started doing with barbering. Like, I was one of the only barbers that was like day and night. I was at the club, and while people were getting drunk and stuff, I'm passing them flyers and stickers. And I remember a couple times, bro, like, I used to tag too. I don't know, some of y'all might used to tag, but at nighttime you go out and you tag and you spray up walls. I remember sometimes I used to get in my car and at nighttime I would go slap stickers all up everywhere, you know what I mean? Yeah, and the stop signs, like in the middle of the thing, I would slap my stickers up because I just, like, I always say don't leave no stone unturned, because people be like, oh, do the clothes work or do the stickers work? I just try it. If I'm gonna quit it, I want them to know that I gave it all that I got, you know what I mean? So, and I know people that have quit and they never really did this or did that or did this, you know what I mean? So before anybody quits, you gotta leave no stone unturned. You gotta try everything. So that first number right there is what I made for the whole year.
Yeah, I've seen that. So that was the whole year?
That was the whole year, and that was this is 2022, that's 2021.
All right.
Yeah, 107.
My question was, how did you like come up with the name Culture, and how did you like get it like out there? Get it?
I came up with the name Culture because if I had a boy, I was gonna name him Culture, and I never had no boy. I had a girl, so I just told myself, like, I don't have another kid, you know. You name your cars, you name your everything else. So I named my business Culture, and then I named it Culture, also because it was like a catchy name, you know what I mean? And I knew I didn't want to name it Darrell's Barbershop or Taper Tage's Barbershop, because that would be hard to brand, you know what I mean? And I knew I wanted to make clothes. I wanted to. I don't know if you guys see my podcast, but I originally went to college for fashion design. And I never did it because everybody that was rapping was coming out with their own clothes. So I was like, well, hell, I'll just be a rapper and then come out with my own clothes. That didn't work. So I said, fuck it, I'm gonna be a barber and I could still sell clothes, you know what I mean? So, and the clothes thing is pretty much remember I said they say barbering is not a real job. That's my not a real job. That's my, my side hustle, more or less. The barbering is where I really, really make the money. I don't make no 100K in clothes, not yet.
I got a question. So since it's a hobby, but you have it at your shop,
Yes.
do you also write that stuff down? Is that also in your books?
No, it's not. And it needs to be. Carly was helping me at first, like with the inventory and we had a website and stuff, but it got to be like a little extra. I mean, I would like to get it there. The shop that I'm looking at in Marietta, it has 2,000 square feet. It's like double the size of the shops. So I told myself, if I do get that shop, I would do half barber chairs and then half clothing, and then I'll try to take it a little bit more serious. But right now, no, I don't. I just go to LA, I buy the clothes, and even selling the clothes, like if I say that's $60 and somebody only's got $50, but in my head, I know I'm still making a profit, take it. You know what I mean? I don't have like a cash register and add the tax, but that's what I would like to get to though, eventually. That's one of my goals.
How long did it take you to build up your clientele?
I think he just asked me that too, but how long? Maybe when I very first started, I worked in Escondido at this little shop. The guy got cancer and died. I worked at Los Panchos for like maybe a weekend. They didn't play any music that I could understand or anything. So at the time, though, Los Panchos was the most hair I had ever cut in a day. But to answer your question, I would say about 2 years, 3 years. And that's because the owner of the shop, like I said, he didn't cut hair, so he didn't help in any way. And I told myself if I ever open up a shop at that time that I would be guerrilla marketing for a lot of people. So if you follow me on Instagram, I don't really market for Taper Tage. I try to market for culture. And that's kind of why I don't take appointments. I'd rather 5 people be right there for me, and then I could say, hey, go to him or go to him or go to him. And now that's your client. You know what I mean? So a couple years to answer your question in short.
Just remember, you guys, it is going to take 2 to 3 years to build a clientele, whether you are guerrilla marketing or not.
Or no matter how good you are.
You have to be in a consistent spot. It took me 2 to 3 years coming from Idaho to build my clientele at Sport Clips, and that 4th year I was working there, like I said, I had 3 to 6 hour waits to get a haircut with me, to where I was doing the same thing. Hey, you can go with one of my other stylists. They can get you in right now. And then I'm producing more clients for people working with me. But be patient, you guys. It does take work, but you have to remember that consistency in there. That is key, that discipline in there. Hey, I'm gonna give out this many cards today. I have 20 cards. I'm gonna go give this many cards and talk to this many people today. It's that discipline. And then consistency of showing up to work every day. That's one thing about Tage I can say. He is always at the shop at 10 o'clock and he's there until 7. Every day.
Come early, stay late in the beginning, you know?
But that's how he built what he has now. You have to remember that. It's not just he woke up one day and it's all there and, oh, I did this. No, it was hard work. It was those late nights. It's passing out your cards and talking to 50 people and maybe only one of them is maybe calls and, hey, what are your prices again? Oh, okay. Fuck, I just talked to 50 people, but okay, well now there's another 50 people I gotta go out to. And maybe 25 of those people are coming back to me. So
you gotta stand out some kind of way.
As far as dreams and stuff, would you say this is the beginning still, or what's the big picture?
Still the beginning. Yeah, I would like to have multiple, maybe 5 barbershops, but other businesses too. Like I told him, I started an S Corp. It's called Culture Company. But I don't only want barbershops. I would like a nail salon, all kind of stuff. You know what I mean? I was even telling somebody there's a empty building right next to where I'm at. I was like, shoot, we can get some a laundromat. Call it Culture too, Culture Laundromat. All you got to do is get washers and dryers, and then you get somebody to run it. You know what I mean? And it's literally right next door to the barbershop. You know what I mean? So I would say, yeah, it's still the beginning. You know what I mean? I still got super big goals that I want to do, hop into some real estate and stuff like that. Eventually I'll feel good when I own one of the buildings that my barbershop's in. I don't own none of the buildings. I'm just leasing the buildings, you know what I mean? Which I got a lot of bills. I got a lot of bills because of that. So eventually I would like to start owning the actual property, and then I'll know I'm doing something.
Yeah, because remember, you guys, with those leases, there's 2 different types of leases you can go into, right?
There's more, yeah.
So there's what Travis was telling me is you have the ones where you can get free rent for so many months, while you're getting everything set up and negotiating that with your landlords. Mm-hmm. If you're during COVID, how they had to shut down. They were making negotiations on rent and all of that just so people could stay open. I think they said Wiley got this building for free for 12 months.
Oh yeah, Wiley.
So he was able to set this shit
He
up.
came up.
But it's because he signed such a long lease because he believed in himself. He knew that he could make it what it is now. So he signed this and said, hey, I'm gonna be here for this long, almost a decade, but give me this year for free and let me get it started.
The longer you sign your lease, the more incentives they give you.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
So remember that. You guys have to believe in yourself if you're gonna take that leap.
You use what's called tenant improvements.
What was that?
They give you what's called TI, tenant improvements.
There you go,
Yeah, yeah.
Cost of building out the building and everything.
I had 3 months at both shops to get it up and running. It only took me a month. So then 2 months of actually working, it was free. I mean, well, I can't say free, but it was, you
And
know.
see, like, when I first started, I thought it was like when you go rent a house. Like, you gotta have first month's, you know, rent, last month's rent, a deposit. You have to have all of this shit just up front. And it's like, no, you can go in there and negotiate it and really make it work for you so it makes your business work for you, right? That's what the goal is making our business and our money work for us instead of us working for it.
Travis actually did my negotiations because, like I said, I never owned a business. I didn't know what half of that stuff meant, triple net and all of that stuff. So
How
he
did you
helped
meet Travis?
at school. I mean, at the spot,
Working with
working,
him?
yeah, working
Like,
next to him.
Right next to him.
He's the one who taught me how to cut so fast.
Clippers are gonna take you places. Make sure you're letting these clippers take you places. I tell you guys all the time, that's why I love watching like A-Rod and stuff. They go to Dubai, a pair of clippers got me here. A pair of clippers got him here. You know, he's owning 2 businesses now and looking for his 3rd one, all off of a pair of clippers. Showing up, being consistent.
And that's it. I'm
So
trying to
after
get
you
to
hit
5.
You wanna like franchise?
So my goal is to hit 5, and then the very first shop, sell it to whoever's been there the longest, Bethel at this point. And then with that money, go open up 2 more in other places. You know what I mean? And then, hey, sell that second one, and then go open up more in other states, other places. I have some family in Arizona and Las Vegas, and those places are a lot cheaper. So I figure if I can do it in California, I can do it anywhere, right? Expense-wise. Yes, ma'am.
Hey, first off, congrats on your second opening.
Thank you.
There for it, and it was amazing.
Cool.
My question is, you guys pretty much answered it. I was more wanting to learn about the business aspect of it. So I know she mentioned that, you know, right now you don't own the actual spot of it,
Right.
but the leasing of it. My question were like, is it like exactly like a house? When you buy a house, is it you have to put a down payment? Like, what's the monthly? But
So-
I mean, even leasing it, how would that even go?
So on both of my buildings, I'm transparent. They're $3,300 a piece. So one's 33, one's 33
That's monthly.
monthly. I had to pay the first month's
just rent, right?
first month's rent, and then a deposit which equaled to another month's rent. So both places I paid $6,600 just to get the key, and then after that, it's that's when you start to get the free rent. You know what I mean? But eventually, you got to up front, you got to pay that amount, and then the 3 months started after that.
Okay, so when you started that, did you already have everything that you have in there, like, for example, chairs?
No.
So you just got the place?
So I just literally got the place, and here's how cheap I am. I opened up both places in December. And when is the cheapest time of year that you can buy anything? Black Friday. So the chairs were $700, $750 a piece. I bought them for $500 a piece because I bought them on Black Friday. There's a place in LA called Nancy's Barber Warehouse or something. I didn't buy the chairs there, but when I went to go get the chairs, I figured, dang, I need to get everything else, like the Marvy jars, the this, the that, the mats on the ground. So when I went to go get the chairs, I just made a day out of it and stopped by. I got the chairs at a place called Barber Hub. It's like it's in LA, Commerce, City of Commerce, like where all the big warehouses and stuff are. So after I got the building, I got the building November 2nd or something like that. And then I got the stuff on Black Friday, and I just started putting the stuff in there as I got it. You know what I mean? So it ain't like I had everything and then I got and then I just put. I was getting it as a lot of stuff I got off of OfferUp. Like there's a waiting, not the waiting chair the big waiting chair that I have, but there's a couple other things that I got off of like OfferUp and Facebook Marketplace.
And did
So
you get all those things with like the money you were saving?
the money I was saving,
Or-
yeah.
Okay. You didn't ever get like a loan or
No,
anything?
Anybody? Anybody know
No,
what?
my dad, no loans.
No, black on, no
Black
loan.
on, no
That's
loans.
my slogan for my shop. Black on, no loans. I've never gotten a loan. I tried.
But do you have a business credit card that you use?
Yeah, I have a business credit card. I mean, I do have a loan. I have a loan for my car, you know, my van that I drive around in. I got loans, but I didn't get
But
no
actually
loans for the
taking out
billing.
a big loan and just using it to go buy everything, no.
Yeah.
That's mostly like his business credit. I watched this guy, I've worked for him for a year and a half now, and I knew him for about 6 months before that. I literally watched him go from, barely keeping barbers in the shop to having like maybe 2 or 3 of them that were consistent to now having 8 people in there. He's got a second shop. He's done his business account and credit all off of YouTube and watching YouTube University.
I was gonna say watch a lot of YouTube for any and everything.
But yeah, I mean, when you find Paige, you find him either printing clothes or he's watching YouTube.
That was one thing I didn't never waste, like in between haircuts. You got people who watch Facebook videos and they'll show you everything on World Star. And I used to get so frustrated because, hey, I'm sitting here with my headphones on and I'm trying to learn something about business credit or something, and you keep coming with this girl that's got a big butt, or and I just didn't I have no wasted time. You know what I mean? So, and still to this day, I try to be that same way. I don't want to sit there and watch some crap when I can learn something. So, no wasted steps.
You see your nails? He's got someone expensive to answer to.
What's up with your big dog?
As you opened up like the barbershop, like, how exactly did you pick your like employees? Did you look into like the pictures first, or like what were you looking for as you?
That's mostly what I did. Like, I've never had somebody come audition. I know there's a couple other barbershop owners, they have people come audition and stuff. For me, it's more or less, does this person promote or does he not? And that's really, really it. I can care less how good a person cuts hair because you can always learn. But when somebody refuses to promote or refuses to post or anything like that, it's going to be hard to flip that switch in their head. So my thing was, as long as this person's promoting and they're trying and they're giving effort, then I'll hire him. At my new shop, there's a guy who just started and he's really, he's all right. He's learning, but he's way more busier than the guy who can give the blurriest fade out of the whole shop. And I think the reason why is because the guy who's not that great, every haircut posts, every time. And the guy who's better doesn't do that. You know what I mean? He just got some blurry ass fade and he'll show you maybe one haircut out of a whole day. And I try to explain to him, like, bro, you cut 7 people today. You literally only posted 1. And it was clean, but you want to show people that you're constantly working. Like, I'm grinding, I'm trying, you know what I mean? So that's why I say I'd rather take someone who's hungry. That's why I always hire younger barbers too. I've hired an older barber and he didn't even know what Instagram was. You know what I mean? So he literally would just sit there and just haircut. He didn't get the concept. Like, times have changed. You got to post. You know what I mean? Like. So he posted one time and I think it was on Craigslist. It was like, bro, it's like, bro, yeah, you're not gonna make it. You know what I mean? So you just gotta grind it out, bro. Yeah, you gotta grind it out. Speaking of that, the guy who's really good and he has the super blurry fade, he's come up to me a couple of times like, man, what can I do to just, I need it faster. And I said, it's almost kind of disrespectful if you want to be as busy as the guy who's been doing it 8 years and you just got out of school 2 months ago. Like, you think you're supposed, it's kind of like a mechanic. You think you're supposed to change oil how this guy changes oil. He's been doing it for 20 years. You know what I mean? So if you do come in after 2 months of school and you are making what this person makes, it's kind of disrespectful to that guy, right? You know what I mean? We all charge the same in my shop. It's just some people cut more. than others. You know what I mean? And I always say you can't really get no raise in barbering. Your raise is go outside and find more people to cut. You know what I mean? So.
Question is, how much money did you invest in your first job?
I have it written down. It was about 28,000. It won't take that much if you want. Like I said, my chairs were $500. They're $700 chairs, but they're $500 only because I bought them on Black Friday. But I could have got $300 chairs. You know what I mean? Or the waiting bench that I bought that has the name in it cost me $1,900. I could have went on OfferUp or to Walmart and got black fold-up chairs, and it would have brought me, would have brought the total down less. So it just all depends on how well you want your shop. Both shops were about 25,000, but again, I didn't have to do the floor. Wiley did this, right? Wiley did the floor and all that.
Remember, you guys, it's about the connections in your seat. Wiley had a client that does flooring.
There you
worked
go.
it out and trade with him.
Yeah, so I didn't do, luckily both shops that I got, one was Supercuts and one was Fantastic Sam, so I just took the floor that,
Already got the electrical, already got the plumbing done for you.
Yeah.
You just have to go in there and make it your shop.
I've yet to, like Cutthroat, he gets shops where you gotta tear everything down.
And that's what I was gonna ask you with Marietta, like you're gonna be starting from scratch, right?
Well, just depending on which building I get, the shopping center I'm looking at, they have a bunch of empty buildings. So when I go do the walkthrough,
That's already set up.
Right, yeah.
He's gonna have to
Do the
that
plumbing and
electrical
stuff.
from the ground up, the plumbing from the ground up.
which will probably cost me a little bit more, but I'm cheap. I try to, I try to find the cheapest way I can get it done, bro. Be honest, but still be professional. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you still want quality in what you're doing. You don't want to be getting stuff off of OfferUp and you're buying it, and 2 months later your
Right, yeah.
barbers are having to deal with it and it's going out on them, and
Yeah, that's why I bought.
spending more money because
That's why I bought brand new chairs. Like the stuff that really mattered, I bought it brand new.
Exactly.
But there's some stuff that you don't need to necessarily buy it brand new.
So I have a couple questions. Like one of them, like you're opening up more and more shops, or that's what you're trying to do. That's like the long goal. How are you able to manage, like, you obviously can't be at both shops both times. So how are you able to like manage, like, one, like making sure that your shop's profiting and also you're taking care of like your employees and stuff like that? Like, how do you do that?
I got cameras, so I can check to see if people are working or not. But everybody's independent. Everybody's booth rent. So again, not every shop runs like that. Some shops, you can't go into it unless the owner's in there, or you got to leave when the owner leaves. Our shop, I give them maybe about 2 weeks to a month and make sure that they're not on drugs and they're not going to steal nothing. And then if all of that's good, then I give them a key. So literally it's 15 of us. There's 15 keys out there.
With the two shops?
With the two shops. There's 7 in Vista and 8 and every single person has a key. It's a lot of trust, but I wouldn't hire somebody that I wouldn't trust. I've had situations where this girl, she came and worked for me, and I realized like she had like these habits, you know what I mean? She was kind of weird. And one day this dude comes in and she's cutting somebody's hair, and the dude went like this to give her some pills and like drops the pills in her head mid haircut. Like she had only been there 2 weeks, you know what I mean? And needless to say, I never gave her a key because I could see, you could see people's habits, which is why I always work at every new shop. You know what I mean? Every new shop, I always work there myself because I need to see people's habits.
So you do go back and forth?
No. I worked at the one in Oceanside for 3 years, and then I let them know, hey, I'm gonna go to Vista, and I hired another person to take my chair.
Got it.
So when I go to Marietta, I'm not gonna hire nobody to take my chair because since it's so far away, I still need to take care of my clients that are down here, and I'll probably go up there on the weekends or vice versa. You know what I mean? So then I will have 2 chairs.
It's just you don't have like an assistant or anything like that?
No. And even manager-wise, like, I told them, there's no real manager. The only single time you need a manager is when the lady comes in and says, who's the manager? That's it. Like that's state board. other than that, you don't necessarily need a manager if you got all responsible people. You know what I mean? The shop I worked at the spot, there was a dude who just got out of prison, gang member, blood dude. He would drop down and hit his program in the middle of the shop while people were cutting hair, while people were around. Like, he'd just drop down and hit 50 and do a burpee. It's like, bro, like, you can't do that. And there was another girl there, she was a braider. She would fall asleep. She was an alcoholic. She would fall asleep on her clients. And one time she fell asleep on a kid that was like 15. It was my client. The kid's mom is in her car. She's in the bathroom for like an hour. We're knocking on the door. What happened? We have to break in the door and pill her up off the ground. You know what I mean? And so that was one of the draws that I had over there. It's like, bro, I'm done with this shop. Because then I became a snitch. Why? Because I had to tell the owner. The owner didn't cut hair. He never was there. So I had to tell the owner, hey, she fell asleep on a 15-year-old kid, and they had to his mom came in and was taking the braids out. So, you know what I mean? To answer your question in short, you just find people that you can trust, you know what I mean? But on top of that, I have a camera. So if anything ever does happen and it's really, really bad, I can always go back and say, hey, this or that, you know what I mean? That girl, speaking of that girl, that was the last straw. She was cutting one of my clients, and the dude told her to stop. Like, I don't want you to cut my hair no more, right? And all the other barbers had called me and said, hey, she swung on the dude. So I called her and asked her what happened. She said, I didn't swing on him. I just tried to take his headphone out of his ear so he could hear me. And I was like, you're arguing with somebody and you go to take their sound, you know, you're lying. And that was the last straw for her. Like, bro, you're gonna mess up my business. My main thing is keeping the name good. You know, because it only takes one barber to go and say, hey, don't work at Culture. They do this or they do that. You know what I mean? And then the whole name is bad. So.
I have one more question. Like, the name Culture, like, what's the culture like at your shops?
Chill, laid back. I mean, I don't really, she probably could tell you. I mean, everybody's pretty much laid back. At the first shop, they're a little bit more like the movie Barber Shop, where they joke and laugh and play and all day. They're clowning and
we're clowning your ass.
Yeah, like at
dude.
the second shop, they're a little like everybody's a little more quiet. But then again, that's probably because it's only been there 3 months, 4 months. So everybody's still learning one another. Like when you go into a new shop, you're gonna be the quiet guy. But after a while, you know, you start to learn everybody's personality. So, yeah.
Michael, I have two questions too. One is, what's the biggest like struggle you had opening your shop?
Finding employees. I mean, like I said, the day I opened, it was just me. At the spot, there was one guy who said that he was going to come with me, but like a week before he came, he was like, I don't think I can fulfill what you want, because I kept saying I don't want part-time, you know, because again, I don't want people that are half-assing the job, because somebody's going to rub off on somebody. If you get 6 people and they're all half-assing, that's going to rub off on the person that's really trying to get it. So I try to have people be full-time and be there all the time. But again, they have free reign to do what they want to do. So.
And the second question was, I forgot already. I saw your prices. They kind of stay consistent. Like, why haven't you like really raised your prices all that much?
Because I don't want to seem higher or better than. Like, there's a guy. The spot in Riverside or something, he had posted the other day his prices are $80, but he on the bottom he put, but if you want to go to one of my other barbers, you can. And it rubbed me the wrong way. Like, why are you this much, but these people are that much? Also, I understand that he's been there and he's the owner and he's been there for so long and he's probably 10 times better than the other ones, but I just don't want to see. I try to keep it, you know, hey, you charge 40, I charge 40. You know what I mean? But I'm gonna cut more people than you are. So obviously I'm gonna make more money. And there's where speed and you know, having a sense of awareness, like if you got 5 people waiting, you gotta speed it up a little bit. You know what I mean? So I don't wanna be Hollywood, basically. the price is the price, you know, so.
Honestly, for me, that's why I break my books down like I do for my pricing and my tips, is so I know if I do need to raise my prices, I know what I'm charging and what I'm making off of it opposed to what I'm making off of my tips. My clients are super generous with my tips, especially around Christmas. So why am I putting that into what my services are? But I want to know both of them, right? That way, again, you're knowing where you can make adjustments with things. Am I taking this day off? Am I taking more clients? Or am I raising my prices $5 so I can get the clients in there that want to pay my prices, right?
They say if you're super, super booked up, then you need to go up on price because, you know what I mean? But yeah, I want to be just like anybody else in my shop. There's a guy who literally just graduated. We're charging the exact same price. And sometimes when I'm cutting, I charge 30 for kids. This just happened the other day. And I'm listening, a kid gets out of his chair and he's like 40. I was like, whoa, you know, dang, you're charging more than I'm charging. I've been doing it 8 years and you charge that dude 40. I ain't say nothing, you know, because again, you're an independent contractor, but you're gonna hurt your business charging 40 sometimes, 30 sometimes, you know, this sometimes. So that's why I try to keep it at what it is. And I'm pretty fast. Like a haircut takes me 15 minutes, so.
The only thing I say is if you're gonna be a shop owner, you're gonna have multiple chairs, make sure you're ready to be that boss that's gonna be there 24/7. Because to make that business successful, your employees successful, you have to be in that 24/7. It's an everyday, all day thing.
Yeah, you're definitely gonna work harder than, to own a shop, you're gonna work harder than just being in a shop. Because when I just work at the spot, if the plumbing went out, guess what? I'm done with my haircut, I gotta go. But when you're the owner, you gotta fix it. It's like a house, same thing. You know what I mean? When you're the owner, you gotta fix it. When you're just renting, all you're doing is calling the owner. So luckily I haven't had any big issues that I had to deal with, like plumber or anything like that. Again, because the places where I'm at are pretty good, you know what I mean? They're real shopping centers. It's not some hole in the wall place, you know what I mean?
It's so easy to get to. Like even when people come over to Oceanside and they're looking for Vista, like, hey, go up 3 exits, you're gonna drive right into the parking lot, it's on the back corner. Like,
location.
yeah, definitely looking for location, that helps promote. You?
What keep you motivated? Like let's say in the stores days, what keeps you like going?
Look at her looking at me like,
She already knows.
is this where you gonna mention me? Yeah, like I said, just being older and then having a child and knowing like this, I can't take it as a joke. I have a cousin who kind of got me into it. Like I said, I was doing illegal activities, and while I was doing illegal activities, I used to go to the barber shop and hang out with him. He worked at the spot. He cut hair, but he never like kept learning. He never saved money. Every other week he was going to Australia, or, you know, as soon as he got up enough money to get on a plane, he's one of the people that went and got on the plane and came back broke. And I got to make up enough for my booth rent. And I just wanted to be completely opposite of that. So, like I said, there was a bunch of defining moments at the spot where I was like, man, I got to get out of here. And there was a couple times where people were selling dogs, and like 2-3 people bought a dog. 2 or 3 of the barbers had bought a dog, and I remember saying to myself, like, I don't need no damn dog. That's another bill. Like, I wanted a dog, you know what I mean? But I don't need no damn dog. And that's like, I literally, my brain was, and I'm still that same way today. Like, I don't buy outlandish, I don't have big diamonds or no big jewels, or if you read the shirt, no Tommy, no Fendi, no Gucci. Like, I don't buy any of that big stuff. They laugh at me still because I still drink Amsterdam. They're like, bro, you make $100K plus and you drink Amsterdam. Hey, it's gonna do the same thing as that 1942 is gonna do you, but that 1942 is $150. We're both gonna be drunk. My bottle is 15. So I'm real frugal, like I said. I'm real cheap. I've been wearing Culture. This is a real fact. I've been wearing Culture every single day for like 2.5 years. Every single day, like no polo. Like I gave away all of that stuff because I don't I need, if I go to the grocery store and I have on a polo shirt, they're gonna just say, hey, nice polo shirt. But if I have on a culture shirt or something that says I cut hair, or hey, I'm a barber, or I could fade you, or anything like that, you got a better chance at catching that client. You know what I mean?
You also use it as a tax write-off?
Tax write-off, yeah. Yep.
I remember when I was in Nashville, my first trip to Nashville, and fucking, I had my green sweatshirt on that says culture, and like, he calls it the Skittles.
The Skittles sweater.
Yeah. And this guy from across the way was like, I like your sweatshirt. I'm like, thanks, go to culturebarberlounge.com. But that's when we had the website. But it's just marketing, you guys. Like, when you're traveling, when you're out, when you're going to the hair shows, when you're doing all of this, like, it's just marketing and getting your name out there so people can get you in your chair and make money.
Yeah, if you guys got family or kids or anything, make them a shirt, slap it on. Everybody's walking advertisement, you know what I mean? I make my mom wear it, my kid wear it. If she didn't have to wear a certain thing to school, I would make her wear culture every day, but she has to wear a collared shirt, so. But yeah, I try not to let anybody pass me that needs a haircut and them not know that, hey, I'm a barber. You know what I mean? Hey, I can cut your hair. So.
All right, also got another one. All right, how much did you save up to realize that you're like, I'm set to open up the barbershop?
Wow. Remember I told you I got the keys in November, but Travis did the talking for me, and he got it down to how much I would need to open it, like get the keys, which was $6,600. And at the time, I think I probably had $25,000 in the bank. And remember, I told you I was gonna buy stuff piece by piece by piece anyway. So I was like, oh, okay, I got 6,600, 25,000, like, and then I just kind of was like, yeah, you know what, I'm gonna pull the trigger. And again, I was nervous. I was shitting bricks. I don't have no barbers. It's just me. But Travis, the owner of West Coast Barber College, he got that building. He literally only had one student. So that was kind of like motivation for me. Like, dang, he only had one student. His building is 10 times bigger than mine. So I can do it, you know, I can do it too. And that's pretty much, yeah. Like,
Right, if somebody else can do it, that means it's possible for you to do it.
Sometimes all you need to see is an example, you know what I mean? Like right now, I'm an example to people that, damn, you can own 2 shops. Because I'd never seen nobody own 2 shops. Well, I have, Los Panchos. Los Panchos has 3 shops. One in Vista, one in Oceanside, one in Escondido. But other than that, I hadn't seen it. So.
But you haven't seen a black owner own 2
Yeah, I haven't seen nobody black own 2 shops at all.
You guys have to remember, especially if you're like Beto, your parents came from across the border to give you a better life, you know, same thing with him, same thing with me. You know, you didn't have those people there to fight for you when you were the underdog. So now you're that hero and you're fighting for the other people that can't fight for them. You're being that example by showing up today and being in this conversation. You're showing up by being consistent and getting your hours done so you can get out there, cut hair, and kill it behind the chair. I'm just trying to get that foundation for you and make connections for you guys so you know where you want to go in this. You guys have any other questions?
Yeah. Do you need your LLC or business back?
Say that one more time.
Or just you opening up your shop?
Do you need an LLC? No, you can do it sole proprietor. Basically, Darrell Harper owns this shop, but if somebody sues you or anything like that, it's all gonna go on you, your personal credit. The whole point of LLC and S Corp is so they're separate. You know what I mean? But just getting an S Corp or just getting an LLC doesn't separate it. There's still other steps that you gotta do.
So there's steps, obviously.
Yeah. So that's why I said
Just to work at the shop, or do you suggest being a barber, you should get it so anything were to happen, it falls on?
Yeah, if you're at a place where you do booth rent, you should always have your own business license. This is Lucille's business, barber shop, inside of whatever business that you're working in, yeah. Lastly, I would say I worked at the spot, but there wasn't really too many clients, so I paid for Yelp myself. So at the time, it was $150 for booth rent. I paid Yelp myself, personally, to run ads on there And people would come to the shop and say, hey, is this Taper Tage barber shop? Not knowing that I'm just a barber inside of this shop. And that kind of helped me get my clientele up too. So while everyone else was paying $150, I was paying, what, $485? Because I was paying $335. So.
That's what Travis pointed out when I was in barber school, was that he did that, but then when he opened up Culture, he now has all of those reviews from Yelp that are now going under Culture Barber Lounge. And so now he has all those reviews already to make Culture, you know, be that standout when you're looking barbershops up.
I definitely try to get reviews too. Reviews go a long way.
You don't know how many people come sit
Should
with
you stay at a place, I mean, if they're working at a salon or a shop already, if they're not charging what you would like to make?
Use it as a stepping stone. How long? I mean, that's to each his own, really. Like, if you realize, like, dang, the very, very top person, I don't want to be like him, then it's probably not the place. I think that's the culture for us, is that everybody's trying to advance and get better. You know what I mean? There's no, iron sharpens iron. There's nobody slacking. You know what I mean? The guy that I was saying that cuts really, really, really good, but he doesn't promote. Now, if you go check his page, he's out all the time with flyers. He didn't even made it to where if you get the flyer, you can come in for free and get your hair cut. So he didn't all the way, you know, because he realized, hey, everybody around me is passing out flyers. Everybody around me is cutting a little more than I'm cutting. You know what I mean? So, yep.
My thing on that is, like, I've always left the job when they start messing with my money. When you start messing with my money, I'm not making my full potential of what is possible because of what's going on around me and because of higher ups making a decision that isn't including me when I'm the one producing that stuff for you. That's when I'm like, no, it's time to cut it. I know what I bring to the table. When I left corporate, I knew what I was bringing to the table. I had created stuff that other stores were trying to take off of my store. And so I knew what I could make being at Culture, because I had worked for a month during COVID. And during COVID, working for a month and being busy and then being in corporate, I was like, I have to switch because they're not appreciating me. They're not giving me the raise that I deserve. And it wasn't, even though I was getting benefits and incentives on the side, medical, 401k, like, but again, when I left corporate, I had my sick hours and all of that to really set me up in booth rent. So because I didn't have a clientele built up there. So I had to be able to pay my booth rent for so long to be able to build up that clientele as well.